Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope you're all doing really well today. I'm Lindsay, your host of the Heavy Metal Journal and writer for This Day in Metal, and I'm back with New Metal Monday, where I talk about my favourite new releases of the week, and I have 5 brand new albums that I want to talk about. But before I begin, as always, check out the description box below where you will find a Spotify playlist, which will feature every single album that I talk about on my New Metal Monday videos, unless it is a Bandcamp only release, but I will note that if that's the case. So if you use Spotify, make sure to follow that playlist because I update it every single time one of these videos goes live. But if you don't use Spotify, don't worry about it because I will also include the band's Bandcamp links or their YouTube channels in the description box below, just so you can find the music that I'm talking about as easily as possible. Also, whilst you're down there, there is a link to the website that I write for. I write full, detailed album reviews, special features, breaking news, and that's where all of my interviews go as well as on the This Day in Metal YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out because a couple of the albums that I'm talking about this week also feature on the This Day in Metal website. But like I said, 5 brand new albums I want to talk about, and I'm just going to jump straight into these. Okay, so first up on my list is probably one of the most highly anticipated records of the year, never mind this week, and that's the Black Dahlia Murder with Servitude, and it is the US melodic death metal band's 10th studio album. Now, this album kind of has 3 milestones rolled into one. So, like I said, it's their 10th studio album. It's also the first album to feature Ryan Knight on guitars ever since 2015's Abysmal, and it's also the very first album to be released ever since Trevor's tragic passing in 2022. Now, this record does have a bit of a bittersweet air about it, so it will obviously be honouring and reminding us of Trevor's work with the band throughout all those years, but it also marks a new era for the band going forward. And the cool thing about this is not only does it have a few more new personal touches on it, but it's also opening a whole other creative world for the band because now they have dual guitars. So it's going to be opening a lot of different doors, a lot of creativity and different ideas for the band going forward. But also, like I said, honouring Trevor's work in the past. Now, the thing that I really liked about this record is it's brutally fast, incredibly heavy with screaming guitars, chugging bass lines, blistering blast beats and proper rasping vocals. But there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of ferociousness behind this, and a lot of emotion, I imagine, for the band as well. And you can really feel that when you're listening to the record. Yeah. Now, I actually wrote a full album review breaking down the album track by track in a lot more detail, and I also had the opportunity to speak with the guitarist Ryan Knight about all things Servitude, all things the Black Dahlia Murder, and all things metal in general. So make sure to check out the This Day in Metal website to check all of that out. It was a really cool, fun interview. So if you are a fan of the likes of At the Gates, Allegiant, Carcass, that kind of heavier melodic death metal sound, it's got a little bit of Majesties in there as well. Definitely check this out, but I was very excited about this album and it has not disappointed. And even though it does, like I say, have a bit of a bittersweet air about it, it's a really great album to listen to. Okay, so next up on my list here is another album that I was really excited about, and this didn't disappoint either, and that's Hi Parasite with Forever We Burn, and this is the debut album from the death pop gothic industrial death metal band. Yes, I said death pop. Hear me out on this, okay? Because this isn't flouncy Taylor Swift style stuff that I'm talking about here. So Hi Parasite is a brand new band that is fronted by none other than My Dying Bride's Aaron Stainthorpe, and he brings his signature vocals to this band. So you have those rasping death metal growls, but you've also got those very broody, smooth, gothic tinged cleans throughout it as well. You've got a lot of really cool guitars in this. It's very melodically rich. It's dripping with gothic goodness. It's a very gothy record, but you also have an awful lot of those synths, the keyboards, and it has a huge influence of Paradise Lost on there, which makes sense because it's produced by Paradise Lost Gregor Mackintosh. So you can expect a lot of the Host kind of era of Paradise Lost. It's that kind of sound, but has more of a modern approach with heavier guitars. It is so catchy, so melodic, and it really buries itself into your brain, and it's very addictive, and you just want to keep listening to it over and over and over again. But even though it's a really fun, kind of jumpy, enjoyable record, there's an underpinning of darkness in there. There's something very dark and very brooding about it. So don't think it's going to be so doomy like My Dying Bride. It's a completely different sound. And like I said, it is very much like the Host era of Paradise Lost, 1 Second in Requiem, that kind of sound, but with slightly heavier guitars. So if you are a fan of that sound, or if you do like Tiamat, or if you just like that really kind of like fun gothic sound that's very dark but also incredibly catchy and jumpy at the same time, definitely check this one out. I also wrote a full album review for this album as well, and we did do an interview with Aaron Stainthorpe. It wasn't myself that did the interview, but that is included in the description box below as well, so definitely check that out. Aaron seems to be a really cool, fun guy to speak to, and that interview is really, really good, so definitely check it out. But honestly, give this a shot. It's really fun, really dark, very brooding, very jumpy and catchy, and they're little earworms. The tracks are so melodically rich, they're just going to bury themselves into your head and it won't leave. And I listen to this album an awful lot, and each time you listen to it, you do pick up on something new. So even if it doesn't sound like your kind of thing, give it a shot anyway, because I really enjoyed this one. Okay, so next up on my list, I have Bewitcher with Spell Shock, and this is the 4th studio album from the blackened thrash speed metal band. Yes, we've got black metal, speed metal, and thrash metal all rolled into one to create this very dynamic, heavy, lightning fast record that is just full of ridiculous riffs, screaming solos. This is very guitar centric, and as the band have put it themselves, this record goes at the speed of Satan. I loved this. This is jumpy, it's fast, it's dark, it's ferocious, very guitar driven, blistering drums in this, chugging bass lines, all of that speed thrash metal goodness with a tinge of black metal, but very much black metal style rasping vocals. Again, this is very melodically rich as well, but it's more on the thrash side of things more so than anything else. And it's just a really fun record to listen to. So if you are a fan of the likes of Hellripper, Grave Ripper, Devastator, Wraith, Skeleton Witch, Venom even, that kind of thrashy speed metal, black metal sound that's very addictive, very catchy, with really cool hooks in it, but blackened vocals that are just incredibly venomous, with a lot of really cool screaming solos, intricate riffs, and it's just a really fun record to listen to. Definitely check this one out. But the album artwork is really what caught my eye on this. I love everything about this album artwork. Definitely check it out. I have no idea if I'm going to pronounce this band correctly, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. I have Marshfi with After the Storm, and this is the 5th studio album from the Belgian melodic death doom metal band. Now, when I say that this record is beautiful, I mean it's beautiful. This is stunning. It's doomy, it's dark, it's heavy, it's crushing, but it's also got all of that ferocity of death metal as well, so you can expect soaring solos, intricate riffs. The details in the guitars in this record are unreal. It's densely atmospheric, and it really does get you thinking. It's very emotional and it's very thought-provoking, but at the same time it's very dark, incredibly addictive, and very melancholic. So if you do like your epic melodic death doom metal with a little bit of black metal and heavy metal thrown into the mix as well, this one is definitely for you. But I was completely blown away by how gorgeous and rich this record is, yet it's going to completely annihilate you at the same time with heaviness. So if you are a fan of the likes of Paradise Lost, My Dying Bride, Insomnium, Officium Triste, Swallow the Sun, that kind of sound, this one is definitely for you, but I cannot get over how amazing this record is. This year has been full of amazing death doom metal records, and this one is no exception. Please do not sleep on this one. I loved this. Okay, so last up on my list, but certainly by no means least, is something I actually stumbled across by accident, and I am so glad that I did because I reckon it's going to feature very highly on my album of the year list, and that's Aidian Memory with Carrion Lord. And this is the third studio album from the solo melodic death metal project from the US. Yes, I have another unsigned independent melodic death metal solo project, and I loved this. Now, not only is this a solo project, but it's a whole concept. So this artist has created this fantasy world of different characters, battles, wars, different situations in a completely fictional fantasy world. So if you like your melodic death metal to be on the heavier side of things, complete with kind of like a fantasy theme, this one is definitely for you. It's very guitar driven, the riffs are rich and intricate, really catchy hooks in this, but like I said, it falls on the heavier side of melodic death metal. So you've got flurries of death metal riffs, and there's a little bit of old school death metal thrown into the mix, as well as the melodic side of things as well. The drums are so thunderous in this, chugging bass lines, and primarily the vocals are very guttural, but on occasion there is a bit of a clean kind of vocal thing going on. But not only that, the keys are subtle, the synths are subtle, and there's a didgeridoo that kind of pops up every now and then, which I think is really cool as well. But like I said, this is a solo project. It's completely based on a fictional world that the artist has created, and each album follows on with the same story of this fictional world with all the different characters and situations. It's blisteringly heavy. It's devastating how heavy these guitars are, and it's just so well put together, and I cannot stop listening to this, and I have a feeling it's going to be very high on my album of the year list. So if you're a fan of the likes of Nyctophobia, Sulphur Aeon, Duskmorn, or the Upon Stone album that came out earlier this year, that kind of side of the heavier melodic death metal, but with a lot of really cool intricate details, this one is definitely for you. Loved this, plus the album artwork is pretty cool too. And that's it for this week's New Metal Monday. Once again, comment down below to let me know what you think of today's records, and if you have any of your own recommendations, please let me know and I will definitely get them added to my list. Check out the This Day in Metal website where you'll find all of the intricately detailed album reviews and the interviews that we do as well, because not only will it help me out, it'll help the other writers out as well. Make sure to follow the Spotify playlist because I will get that updated once this video goes live. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you very soon in my next video.